Welcome back to the morning show. Matt Sellen, our wise guy, has cut off my body. I'm just a head now.
The disembodied head, except
kidding.
when you stand up.
Right.
So anyways.
Optical illusions, right?
Right. So we got started on this last week, and I realized there's a lot more stuff, and I kind of rooted around in the demo room. But we have this cool storeroom for neat stuff in the physics department that they use for demonstrations for lectures. And so I went down there and I grabbed out all the interesting kind of mirror trick things I could get my hands on, because they have a bunch of stuff. And so I have some very cool sort of magic illusions that I'm going to show in the second segment, and then to sort of wind up to it to show how these things work. Most of them use mirrors. I thought I'd talk about mirrors a little bit in the first one. And so first of all, what I have right in front of you here is just a plain ordinary mirror. And the way plain ordinary mirrors work, and I don't know if you can maybe go to the other camera and put it in on that one, is that they actually switch left for right. You may not have thought about it, but if you stand in front of a mirror, suppose you're the mirror image of me, okay, go like this. Now, we've raised the same hand, right, the way it would in a mirror. That's my right hand, but it's your left hand, right? And so it turns out that if you do all the math and everything, all the laws of physics don't notice that. They don't care, at least unless you get to the very fine subatomic stuff, which is what I do in my research. But for things like motion and particles, you'd be very surprised if you looked at something in a mirror and it behaved oddly, right? It just behaves the same. So it turns out, though, that you can actually construct a mirror that doesn't switch left for right, which is kind of neat, okay? So here's a regular one, and the little car here, I've opened up the left-hand door of the car. When you look in the mirror, you can see that car is a right-hand door that's open, okay? If I take this mirror out of the way, I'm going to put him down here, and I just take this car and set him over here a little bit. Now, you see that I opened up the thing on this side, okay? But you see my finger and the door I'm pointing to on the other side when you look in the mirror, okay? So this kind of a contraption of a mirror where the light gets to bounce twice, you can actually straighten everything out again. So it's more like what you would see if you were filming things with a TV camera. It doesn't switch left or right, okay? So that's kind of neat. And then if you go into your bathroom, you find these little shaving mirrors, and they're really frightening because one side is kind of normal, and the other side you go, ah, it's like you see it right up your nose. Okay, so these are concave mirrors. They're kind of cave-shaped, and they're kind of hard to show, but here's one I can show you. It's a great big giant. It's one of these mirrors you put in a hallway so that you can see people coming around the corner. And if I go like this, hopefully we can see, yeah.
Oh, there's Travis. Give us a wave, Travis.
Travis right there. And so this is like a fisheye lens, and this mirror has a shape like a dome. Okay, it's a convex mirror, and so the light kind of comes in from all directions and bounces straight out, or the other way around, which serves to kind of spread everything out like a fisheye lens, which is kind of neat. And so these things are kind of useful. Okay, if they're shaped the other way, so they're like a little concave mirrors, then you can see up your nose, which is disgusting. So you don't want to do that. Okay, now the last thing I want to show before we quit, it's not a mirror, but it's a neat illusion. There's a snowman here, and if you look at him, he kind of looks at you, and I don't know if you can do this because you probably can't move your camera very far. Maybe if I'm going to go over here and get this camera out of your way. If you slide that camera over to the side and keep focused, keep going to your right, okay? No matter what you do, the snowman is still looking at you.
Oh, he is kind of turning his head.
He kind of moves his head, yeah. Well, he's not really moving. We're looking at him from behind. He's not moving at all, except it looks like he is. And in fact, if I turn this thing with my hand, okay, it looks like he's turning his head the other way, which is kind of strange. And the reason is, if you look closely at this, it's not a snowman, it's a sort of this thing is concave.
Right, but it looks convex.
Yeah, so when you're looking at it, it looks like it's sticking out at you, but that's an illusion. It's really sticking inward.
So it's the light in front of it. Right,
and that's why as you walk by these things, and you might have seen these before at museums and stuff like that, it looks like the head is kind of turning to follow you everywhere. That's because you're looking at this sort of inside surface rather than the outside surface, and your brain fools you.
All right, well, we got to get to weather now, but when we come back, you're going to have more.
I have two really cool illusions where things will appear to hover in midair, and you'll like